What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I got the boy, Max.
What's up, y'all? Nice to meet y'all.
We wanted to hop on and talk about our experience using Whop as creators. I want to sit down with Max, talk it up a bit, see what his experience is like personally, and then even go over mine a little bit. So, Max, for people that don't know who you are, with your online business and stuff like this, and in the last 2 days, you processed over $8,000 in a 48-hour period. Go into that a bit more.
Yeah, so I mean, specifically on Whop, those are my first 2 days on Whop, $8,000 in about 48 hours. And what was really cool about it was I didn't really have to think too much about switching my processor, whereas I feel like if you're going to a private processor, there's a whole lot of SOPs that you have to go through to even get things set. You have to send over a ton of payment processing history. Whereas with Whop, luckily enough, you connected me with Derek. I think he got me ready to process within 6 minutes. And then I think 12 minutes after that, we got a $500 sub on there just like that. And then I think a little bit later into that night, had a 4K deal. And then after that, another 4K deal.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so after that, I mean, it took, 2 days for me to get my money out, which was really easy. And typically when you're, on a new payment processor, it takes 6 to 7 days for them to even process your first payment.
Yeah.
So I think that's really unique. And honestly, I don't know how they did it, but it was really nice.
It was way easier.
Yeah, for sure. And again, the biggest appeal is that I don't have to worry about, my processor getting shut down as long as I'm providing a solid service. Whereas with Stripe, you could give people a pot of gold, even if it's not in your contract, and they could charge back and you still wouldn't be protected. Or let's say you have a really big out of character month, you're processing $50K per month, and then you go and you process $300,000 in the same month, and they'll go ahead and hold a reserve. So I mean, Whop doesn't do that, which is really cool.
Yeah. That was the thing too, is like the payout period. And when I first came to the platform, I was like, wow, I just made an account and like there's no weird thing where I connect my bank account and have to wait 7 to 10 days for whatever reason to like test deposit the account or some shit. No, you just sign up for it and boom, within 48 hours after you get your first payment or first transaction, you can just withdraw it right away. So a little bit more about your overall review coming to the platform, because I called you or you called me. I forget how it went.
You called me
I did.
I think like last Tuesday.
Yeah. So like, 9 days ago?
Yeah.
And now we're here. That's how quick this shit moves. But yeah, I called you and was like, yo, why don't you start using Whop for everything? They can just build everything out for you too, because you have your own offer and stuff like this as well. And yeah, it's a no-brainer. You were like, okay, well, how much for me to switch everything? And I was like, nothing. It's $0. Like they do everything for you. And you're like, all right, I'm sold. I'm done.
Yeah. And I was like, is the fee like crazy? He was like, nope, it's a standard 3%.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Why would I not?
Yeah. And then within minutes, we got you, or Derek got you all sorted out. And then we texted and you were like, what, an hour or two later? You're like, bro, just ran my first transaction.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh shit, let's get it.
And the coolest part is, right, because I do consulting and system implementation, but the coolest part was that I get to add a whole new deliverable because the course is so easy. And I'm not even just saying that because, again, when we were on the phone, we didn't even talk about a course. You were just like, hey, it's a better processor. And then I got on the dashboard, and it was so easy to create a course. I made a couple lucens and had AI go through some of my sales calls and write down some of the key points and made a ton of frameworks. And honestly, my clients have done so much better. I think one of my clients, her name's Shannon, before, I think she did $1,100 the month before we started. She did $1,600 or $1,700 in just yesterday.
I remember that.
Yeah. And
we were at dinner. I'll throw the picture up. We were at dinner together. And yeah, you showed me the screenshot or the WhatsApp text. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. And I think it goes back to, we talk about this all the time, me and Frank, right? When you provide a good service for somebody and you have a ton of client results and you actually genuinely help people, bro, money just flows, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like people don't care about how much money I make if they're looking to work with me. They care about how much money all the people I've worked with make. And when you help other people change their lives and make more and more money, it brings people to you, and you get more money, right? So at the end of the day, being a good person and helping other people make money is gonna make you the most money you've ever made. And it's so easy on Whop because I can add extra deliverables. I can host calls. I made a community, which I've never had before for my clients, because typically it was, everything's one-on-one, which it still is, but I got to add a place where they can talk, stuff like that.
The Den.
Cool. The Den. Oh, yeah. Started that's whole different.
Yeah, but
that's
still,
sick.
you started it and have how many people in there?
Yeah, so it's a community for entrepreneurs. It's essentially like a virtual mansion. You have to be making more than $10,000 a month to join. It's free, and I think we had like 460 applicants. And
Really?
the first 4 or 5 days, accepted I think about 42 or 43 people because they have to send proof, obviously, that they make $10,000 a month. And I got another text from Whop. I was in New York, and they were like, "Hey, saw this community's progressing really well. Like, we'd love to fly you out to New York." And I was like, "Hey, like, I'm already here. Let me get to you guys."
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a cool thing too. Is like, what other company out here is like rewarding their creators to pay for their whole trip to come to the headquarters and meet the founders?
Venture capital, baby.
Well, yeah, for sure. But I was here and brainstorming with the literal owners of the company here about other stuff that we're working on in the background. And, like, who else is doing that? Kind of, like, breaking the fourth wall in a way.
Completely.
That's what it's called, right, in movies?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild because, and I think this happened to Frank too, they fly you out here, and the first time you get to their headquarters, you're basically asked a ton of questions about how your experience was, and they want you to be like absolutely lethal with your review. So they want you to rip it apart so they can fix it, which is like really cool, because I feel like typically processes or platforms get a little bit offended, like, "Hey, this is how we do things.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear it." Whereas here, it's like, "Please just tear us apart so we can fix it."
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't have much to say because I do like it a lot. And I'm sure as time progresses, I'll be like, "Okay, hey, this would be cool." But I mean, they're doing it.
Things will come up, but the platform will also continue to get better too,
Yep.
just because of everything they have going on and fixing and improving upon. Like, what you said is so true. Like, they're always open to market research, which is why their product will forever get better and better. The day they stop doing market research was the day they'll become stagnant. But what are your goals in terms of being on the platform, one, bringing other people to the platform, and even just running your offers? Do you see a future going back to any other platforms or no?
I don't. Honestly, I don't. Especially because, I don't know if you saw this, but if you hit 100 million in revenue,
Get you a jet.
you get a Lambo. If you get a billion, you get a jet.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I'm trying to get my Lambo. Like,
That's the cool thing, that they gamify it.
yeah, exactly. It's literally a game. I got a my first like 5 seconds on the platform. I got a handwritten letter. Well, it hasn't arrived, but I mean, it's like, that's effort. It's cool.
Yeah, they go the extra mile to make the creator feel very heard, and every word you say is feedback for the company, and whatever it is, whether it's positive or negative, they're going to listen to it. So for any creators watching this right now, in terms of like whether they're new or existing, as an existing business owner yourself that is processing more volume than most people are online, what would you say to them in terms of providing insight for somebody that might be want to switch over to Whop?
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, when you're an entrepreneur, there's so many things that could go wrong all the time. So it's really nice to have an entire team that you don't have to pay. It's just part of your payment processor that will actually fight disputes and chargebacks for you. Now, again, you provide a good service. That's the best thing you can possibly do, but you're always going to have bad apples where even if you provide something great, they're going to try to dispute or charge back or something. And so the fact that you don't have to worry about that as much as, like with Stripe, I had an entire position at my company where I had someone who would have to do disputes. And I don't even get a lot of disputes. It's just I didn't want to worry about it. And now I got to save a ton of money per month because I don't have to have that position anymore because Whop's going to do it for me. And the fact that I don't have to pay anything for it's ridiculous. So, right, as an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about moving to Whop and doing everything on there, you're going to have really low lows. You're going to have really high highs. But when you have those low lows where, okay, I just processed, a poor month. I didn't do very good. And now this person's charging back. To have to not really worry about that is, ridiculous. Especially when you're scaling and you're dealing with thousands of people. It's just a whole nother thing that's going to allow you to focus on working on your business again instead of in it, which is something I say all the time.
It's so important because then you're kind of pulled in all these directions. Now, like you said, you have the team going for you at bat on those sort of things like chargebacks.
Yep.
And delegating that essentially just to them. So the whole thing we talked about on the video with Derek in this playlist in terms of Whop conversations is you get all these things in exchange for just payment processing fees. Like, it's a no-brainer in my mind. Like, I was on Whop for a few months at this point, and I had no complaints at all with the company. Like, and then whenever you do have complaints, we already talked
Boom,
about it.
fixed.
They're fixing it or on
They
it.
work at the speed is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And we talked about this too. If you're slow as an entrepreneur, you're not going to make money. Just simply. So when it's not even our company, and we're like, hey, this happened. Like, okay, we'll put our dev on it. It's like, that's wild. And it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, you're right.
It's just pumping, and I don't see why they wouldn't stop going at this rate, because they're just continually hiring the best talent. Everything you need as a digital entrepreneur, Whop has the all-in-one solution. Instead of paying for all these different subscriptions and softwares and stuff, they have everything that you really need to actually be successful and make it as easy as possible to scale.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And when you think about Whop actually as a business, again, I wish I thought of the idea, but we didn't. But what it really is it's just a payment processor, but their selling point is that they have all these things like course building, community building, chat, that you can do giveaways, you can host events, you can sell access to a software, a Discord, or something like that. Like, they're basically making it all encompassing, so you don't have to pay for any softwares for your business, and the only fee they take is payment processing fee. So really, they're a payment processing fee that eliminates all the other expenses.
Which is absurd. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So otherwise I wouldn't be sitting down here even talking about it, because like, it's pretty badass. And the people, they're the processors that are not optimizing for their customer results and customer feedback.
Yeah.
Over time, they're going to end up losing clientele to people like Whop. And the more and more other creators hop on, and people like myself, people like yourself talk about it, it'll bring more awareness to how good the platform is. Like, other companies are going to start to try and really catch up and do similar things, but I think they're building a big moat with the talent they have and the people on board right now are very, very powerful people. So, because everybody has access to information now online, right? But when you have a team this powerful that wants to not only make the information good, but make the deliverables even better, nobody else has that sort of kind of database. So when you equip the creator and influencer with that information, you're going to be the go-to source for whatever niche you're selling towards. Why not join a team that is going to help you along the way? You're going to help them along the way as well by making their brand more well-known and more trusted too. If anybody knows me from the Go High Level community, like, I'm a Go High Level affiliate too. Now with Whop, I'm like kind of the same thing.
They integrate, right?
Yeah, they do too. You can do that.
We
didn't even cover that. I didn't even cover that with Derek either for processing. But that's honestly all I wanted to go over specifically with Whop, and getting to know more about your experience, including going over mine a little bit here. So next time, me and Max will sit down and do a full podcast together. He is a 19-year-old, and he absolutely crushes it.
Thanks, bro.
So his story, I know, is going to be very cool to share online, and we'll chop it up, and the people will know who you are and get some more exposure. So until then, I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. Going over your experience and once again being flown out here by the company itself. So without further ado, guys, if you guys want to start using Whop or try it out, it's no cost or anything like that, of course. The link will be in the description of this YouTube video. So if you guys want to be personally onboarded by my buddy Derek, who maybe you've seen my other videos, go to the link, sign up, start using Whop. He will personally call you for an onboarding call, which is very, very simple for a white glove experience. But that's all today. Don't be motivated. Stay disciplined. And I'll see you guys in the next video.